Good evening, Australia. I'm Michael Kuzilny. Tough times never last, but tough people do. I've got a great lady on the couch, Francesca Pavone. Now, this lady, I'd say, is a highly effective human being. On the 23rd of March 2016, she was feeling a bit tired and diagnosed with an aggressive blood cancer. She's a mother of 3. She runs several successful businesses, and I'm so glad that she's here. How are you? And God bless you that you're here.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. It's an honour to be here.
When you walked in, I completely forgot that you were sick and lost your hair, and you said people treat cancer patients differently.
There's definitely a stigma associated with people with cancer, and I'd like to be able to change that stigma. It's obviously a really obviously getting a cancer diagnosis is really quite traumatizing, and when people know you to be quite a strong independent person, and I'm known to have a real zest for life, and then to be diagnosed with it, it's quite humiliating going through all of the physical changes that you go through.
God bless you. I couldn't even imagine, because life's tough enough anyway, isn't it? And I loved our story before. You went to the Star of the Sea and you met the great man, Nick. You've got 3 beautiful children. How old are they?
I've got now a daughter who's 13, Julia. Nicholas is 11, and Sophia is 8 years old.
Yeah, this is amazing. So your parents are beautiful people. So everything is going well, and all of a sudden you're feeling tired. And obviously the doctors say stress, but how do you finally get diagnosed? What were the words?
Well, for me, it was a very long, arduous process. So I had been unwell for a period of 18 months. So I had, initially I was ignoring a lot of the physiological changes that were taking place.
Yeah.
I was running 3 businesses. I was a silent partner of a 4th business. At the time, the children were 3, 5 and 7. And I think I just accepted that I was tired and I was burnt out, and I was really feeling a little bit overwhelmed with life. But then that was just it. They were the choices that I made, and I accept those choices. And, I'm luckily quite a naturally positive, optimistic person. So I think I was able to project outwardly that positivity. I think people really assumed that, I was successful and confident and a fearless leader, and that all was okay. But I actually wasn't, and I did a really good job of convincing myself and everyone around me that I was okay, until those changes started to take place in the body, and I could no longer ignore those changes. So over the 18-month period, I saw 10 different doctors. They misdiagnosed me on multiple occasions. I was presenting with itchy skin, I had fatigue, weight loss, and so they assumed that it was...
And I suppose with all that came a depression as well.
Absolutely.
What did Nick say? Did he say, look, get yourself checked out, or did he just put it down to stress as well, maybe?
Well, both of us, he did. He thought that it was stress, and he's always been very encouraging and said, take time out for yourself. I think women are very good at, we're naturally are good at nurturing and being compassionate and empathetic to those around us, but very bad at actually taking time out for ourselves, really listening to ourselves. I think we kind of put ourselves at the bottom of the food chain. So I heard, yes, take time out, but I was so caught up in the doing and the busyness of life that I just didn't take time out for myself. So I remember I was really quite depressed at one stage, and I was very much overwhelmed with trying to run these businesses, being responsible to, hundreds of staff, and then, trying to raise these very loving, high-spirited children. And one night I just came home, I was having dinner with Nick, and I muttered the words, "I have cancer." And for him...
Were you diagnosed that day, were you?
No, not at all.
Did you hide it for a while? You had a knowing?
I had a knowing. So because the doctors were treating me with, eczema creams and putting me in solariums to help with the itchy skin. I was taking lots of different ointments and things.
Francesca, what happens next? The treatment. Did you know much about the condition?
I didn't. No.
So you Googled,
so I had no idea.
Asked.
Well, so once I had said, no, I know, and I needed to take, my own health into my own hands, I demanded a chest x-ray. And when the radiographer did the chest x-ray, she gasped when she saw the results. So that was confirmation that it was cancer.
Yes.
Then I got the phone call from my doctor an hour later saying, you need to pack your bags. We need you at Cabrini immediately. And at that stage, we didn't know what type of a cancer it was or what my prognosis was. So they had to do a biopsy. And then when they determined it was blood cancer, they said the course of treatment would be chemotherapy and radiotherapy, and it'll be for a whole year. Because I had an 11.5 centimetre tumour wrapped around my heart. And I also had tumours in the lymph nodes under the armpit and on the side of my neck as well.
God bless you, Francesca. That's right. And how did you share that with your kids?
I didn't, actually. I haven't shared this with you. I only told my children last year, so 4 years after the diagnosis. I've come from, I guess, very influenced by my upbringing, and I think, I always felt like I was, very much loved and supported in everything I did by my parents, and happiness was very important growing up. And I could see these children as they're little live wires. They really are full of energy. And I just, I think as a mother, I just wanted to protect them the way my mother protected me.
You didn't want to broadcast bad news. And when you lost your hair and everything?
So I told the children that I had itchy skin, which was the truth. And I said to the children, I'm going to be treated with very strong medication. It will make my hair fall out. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in hospital. And by Christmas, Mum will be better again. And you just need to have faith and trust that I will be okay. So that's all I shared with them. Until last year, they were being really naughty, children just being children. And I said, right, this is the time. And I sat down, I was with Mum and Dad and my husband, and I said, this is what Mum went through 4 years ago. I didn't want to tell you at the time, but...
Amazing. We might talk about when you went through those dark days after the break, but thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you very much for joining us, viewers. We'll be back very shortly with this great lady who never gives up. Thank you very much for watching, viewers, wherever you are around Australia, maybe around the world. Tough times never last, and a lot of people go through anxiety and depression at the moment, especially after a very global COVID-19, and a lot of people still trying to get back on track. People lost their businesses, their homes, and there's a lot of people depressed. I get phone calls all the time from people wanting to just have an early departure and end their lives, but don't do it. We've got the great lady Francesca on the couch, 23rd of March 2016, diagnosed with a very aggressive blood cancer. She's a great mother of three and an excellent and first-class professional. You really, really are. You're enthusiastic. You've got your social of friends, and all of a sudden you've got cancer. God bless you, and you're educating yourself. How do friends and family react once they find out?
I think it was obviously a real shock.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I was relatively healthy before the cancer diagnosis. And I think as I've very fortunate to have a very positive mindset by nature, that's just who I am, then I think, it was unsettling for people because they thought, God, if you can be diagnosed with cancer, anyone can be diagnosed with cancer.
Anyone can. Stress is a very big thing, isn't it? And you've got so many things to say, so we're going to ask you lots of questions because you're a great talker. But viewers will want to know this. Stress is a big thing. We've got to take time out for ourselves, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that stress is very different for everybody.
Yeah.
And for me, I internalized a lot of the stress and pressure. So people didn't really... they wouldn't think to say, are you okay? So, and it manifests and impacts all areas
Francesca, I wonder though whether it was stress because, it's so exciting, life's going well, you've got this sense of accomplishment, happily married, businesses, kids, or maybe it's just the system, maybe it's just something that happens.
Look, I think, cancer... I think they say now that, 70% of cancers attributed to lifestyle, diet, and stress. So I think that, doctors say, look, it's just, Russian roulette, you're unlucky. But if I look back and I'm really real with what was going on at that stage of my life, I was really overwhelmed and very stressed, and I was riddled with anxiety and stress. And I think I managed it to the best of my ability.
You certainly did, darling, and I was very impressed when Francesca in her notes she said, Michael, cancer is the best thing that ever happened to me, because sometimes these difficult times really, really give us so many life lessons, don't they? They redirect us. They make us tougher mentally. And how did it change you?
Yeah, well, I had to look at it as a gift. So I looked at it as a divine tap on the shoulder to say, hey, the way you're living your life is literally killing you.
Yeah.
And so it was an opportunity for me to really re-engineer my life, to really grow and expand my thinking and awareness. And
so, Francesca, in a nutshell, you finished not so long ago the treatment, the chemo and everything. You lost your hair in maybe 2018 or 17?
Well, it was immediate. So as soon as I started the treatment in 2016 in April, and then by July I'd pretty much lost most of the hair. So
do you then sorry about all the questions, but your mindset then, I know when I'm feeling tired and stuff, I just want to hide out at home. Do you then sort of cut? You don't socialise as much? Is that what happened? Did you withdraw?
I did withdraw. Yes, I did. So because I didn't want my children to find out about my cancer, then I couldn't tell, the school community about the cancer. So I felt we went through it very privately with a lot of love and support from mum and dad and my brother and my in-laws, sister-in-laws. My husband was amazing. So it was a very private process that we went through.
You are so amazing. One of my good friends, he's a barrister. He's got cancer at the moment. God bless him. He talks very highly about Professor Miles.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's his treating.
You know
he
how
said, he's a terrific fella.
Yeah, he's one of those earth angels. He really is.
Because I saw it in your notes, and I saw it in. He was telling me about Professor Miles, but So
he's founded the Snow Dome Foundation with a couple of other people, and they're the leading philanthropic funder of genomic blood testing. And he's giving real hope to cancer patients. So he's a tremendous man. Yeah. And I feel really grateful that with my business in a small capacity, I'm able to support the work of Snow Dome by helping with charity events that they run.
That is amazing. And we wish to say a big hello to the great Katie Bentley, who introduced me to you. And she said, you should check out this great lady, and she swims in the bay. So are you with the Icebergers?
Yes, very fortunate to be part of that
with Matthew
group.
And the team at the gym there.
Yeah, they're wonderful. They really are. Yeah. And I think that when I was diagnosed and with the chemotherapy, anyone that knows anyone that's gone through chemo will know how grueling it is on the body. Yes. So I nearly lost my life, not to the cancer, but it ended up being the chemotherapy, and I was hospitalised. And there was a point where the priest came around and he was saying goodbye, doing final blessings to people in my ward. And one of the nurses said, I don't understand why you're here on this ward. You shouldn't be here, because this is not a great ward to be in. You really need to, dig deep and get yourself out of this situation. I remember her saying that to me, and I thought, wow,
where was that, Francesca?
Cabrini.
Right, just here?
Yes, in Malvern.
In Malvern.
That's right. So I was very, very unwell, and I could feel my body giving up. My mind was giving up. And
how are you feeling now?
Amazing.
Are you happy?
It was mindset. Wow. So something shifted. Okay. And I knew that the power of the mind, and there's Dr. Joe Dispenza and lots of people who influenced my way of thinking, and cold water therapy. So
we might talk about that, the cold water therapy after the break, but it's certainly, I'm looking forward to doing it myself. We'll be back very shortly. Francesca is an excellent and first-class professional. I'm very, very impressed, enthusiastic, happy, almost passed away. I'm not sure whether almost, but through positive thinking, you're back on top and you've changed your lifestyle and life is great.
Yeah, I mean, life's never going to be perfect. We're
No.
always going to be faced with different challenges. But I now feel through my cancer diagnosis, I've got a lot of tools and techniques that I can lean on to support me during those challenging
That's such
times.
a great answer and a stupid question. Life is great. And this is the thing about people wearing their masks, isn't it? How are you? I'm great. What are you doing over Christmas, And we were talking before in the Buddhist philosophy, life comes with 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows, and I think the most successful people in life are, who are good at getting on top of crisis, and the longer we sort of, walk around the pit and fall into the self-pity, that's when the anxiety and the depression starts, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, I do have a real zest for life.
Yes.
And a deep gratitude for being here on this planet. So I still go through challenging times. I still experience
Of course.
anxiety, but I never give up on myself. And there are so
never
many
give up.
different alternative therapies and different, modalities and disciplines that you can incorporate into your life to help you.
And Francesca, we just come out of, and a lot of people sort of the lockdown for 12 months. A lot of your businesses, it did affect. Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
And so being in the events industry, we were quite a very, very well-known and successful business.
Yeah, tell
And
us about that business.
So it's called Down Event Hire.
Yes.
We've been established for 16 years now. We are really inspired by interiors and fashion and architecture, and we've really revolutionised the industry, not just here, but internationally as well. So we bring
Amazing.
different brands to life.
So
Grand
what
Prix,
sort of
tennis.
what sort of events are they?
So we do a lot of the major events, the Australian Open. So that infrastructure that you see there, we design our own furniture and we manufacture it actually specifically for the Australian Open.
That's why you speak so well. You're on the phone all the time. All your managers are, yeah?
Yeah, we are. So
Yeah.
we've got an amazing workforce and and a very well-known brand. But then through COVID, we were shut down and had no income for 10 months. So that was
Amazing.
really challenging, and we lost over 100 staff. So that was a
Challenging.
really difficult time. And so I then joined the Icebergers.
Yes.
And I started swimming with the Icebergers. And three of my gorgeous girlfriends, they've become best friends really. And through such a challenging year, it was actually one of my happiest years because of the cold water therapy.
Wow.
And I've always been fascinated with the Icebergers, and Michael, you see them as well. And there's just something so electric about these people. They come out of the water with big smiles.
I don't know whether there's something electric about the old blokes wearing the Speedos though. I walk down the pier sometimes, I go for a bit of a jog and, I mean, I know half the guys from Rotary. They're beautiful, but I suppose they're nice, the Speedos. I mean, it's got to be done. It's part of the
Oh, look, I
part
think
of
when
the
the
deal,
water's
isn't
so
it?
cold and you're swimming, in
I
August and the water's 8 degrees,
impressed.
no one's
I
really
think it's
looking at
both
what
courageous and
anyone's
heroic in winter to go into that bay. I can't even go into the bay in summer. But this is amazing. So are you doing
I
it?
still do, absolutely. So, 3, sometimes 4 times a week, I will go for a swim out in the bay because of the, it's now scientifically proven that it actually helps to build your immune system, helps to reduce stress, anxiety.
This is great.
So,
When was the last time you went?
2 mornings ago.
Was it? Was it cold?
Yes. Very cold. So your body tingles. It almost burns when you get in. And then once you start swimming, the body starts to warm up. And then you think you're okay. And then you realise that you think you can stay in the water a lot longer. So, about 40 minutes. And then that's when, sometimes the hypothermia can kick in and you realise, okay, we're done.
This is amazing. Francesca, you're a wonderful soul. And we both agree there can be beauty in the messiness of life, even though you went through a difficult cancer treatment, you had lots of challenges during COVID-19. There was still beauty in it. You all of a sudden you're swimming, you meet new friends. What's your advice to? There's a lot of anxiety, depression. People lost their businesses, and just people generally unhappy. What's your advice to wake up and have a bit of joy for life, gratitude?
Absolutely. Gratitude, which is something I got taught as a really young child, and it has supported me all throughout life.
Yes.
So even, look, as I said, there's a lot of people that are really struggling at the moment. I think the power of meditation is that it actually creates a little bit of space between you and your thoughts.
Yes.
There's a great book, Michael A. Singer, The Untethered Soul, and he talks about we are not our thoughts. So I think that there's a lot of powerful messages in that particular book. But I think meditation's powerful, breath work. So,
Tell me about breath work, because I meditate, but I'm hearing a lot more about that we're not breathing.
We're breathing
really too
really
shallow.
We do, because I think we don't even realise that our dominant state is that sympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
So we take very short, sharp, shallow breaths up here in the chest area.
Yeah.
But that's because we're in that fight or flight mode. We're waiting for some imminent threat. We're telling our body that we're not okay. And we've just become so accustomed to, high levels of adrenaline and stress, and that's how we manage. And it's so damaging for us. So science shows that through just even only 3 very deep conscious breaths that we're able to then stimulate our vagus nerve, which then activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which brings us back to that rest and digest state. So we're telling our body that we're okay.
But a lot of the blokes watching would say, I just want another VB. I'm not going to start...
it's a lot of discipline, Mark. You said it. It's a lot of work, a lot of discipline.
What I've got to say is that you are extremely disciplined. I can see discipline and consistency, and you've got so much to give. Keep up the great work. We could sit here for 3 days, but thank you so much. And
thank you, Michael.
And we haven't even spoken about all the charity stuff you do, but we'll do this again. But congratulations on a successful life and a beautiful marriage and a beautiful family. And thank you very much for watching, viewers. What an inspirational lady. Tough times never last. We'll see you next week. Good night.